Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Dana with the Data. So, today I want to talk about lost liberals. More specifically, Congressman Al Green. He has been making headlines this whole week, ever since Wednesday, when President Trump held the Congress joint sessions. Joint sessions to Congress Wednesday night. So, during the joint sessions to Congress Wednesday night, which is similar to a State of the Union, Al Green got kicked out, and rightfully so. But let's fast forward a little bit, because the Democrats, they are making headlines for locking arms and holding hands, singing "We Shall Overcome" after Al Green was voted to be censured on the House floor. Now, as a Black woman, I am highly offended by that gesture, but I'm going to play this video before I explain why I am offended.
Adoption of House Resolution 189. The House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al Green forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure, and that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker. The House had come to order. The House had come to order. The House had come to order. Clear the well, please. Clear the well. The House has to continue its business. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the House will stand in recess subject to the call of the chair.
A display of buffoonery. Now, all those Democrats that were standing up there, I saw Maxine Waters, Representative Ayanna Pressley, and of course, Al Green leading the charge. All coons, all buffoons. None of them have done or has done or have done or had done past, present, and future, and don't plan on doing anything specifically for Black Americans. They are useless. They are barely doing anything for America, and they feel as though being disruptive will get them brownie points, or the American people would champion them. No, it is actually doing the opposite. Now, let's go back to how all this started. I want to play the video from the joint sessions to Congress.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber. Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House.
All right, I want to rewind it back a little bit here, because as he was being escorted out of the House, look who was in the crowd. Where's she at? There she go. Jasmine Crockett. And they had these little stupid bingo signs Musk steals. Well, what is this man stealing? He is a billionaire. Unlike Democrats and other Republicans who steal. But as Al Green was getting escorted out, she sat there quiet, holding her sign. So where's all the energy from Jasmine Crockett? And actually, I will be doing a separate video on her, breaking down her buffoonery as well. But she knew better. And she doesn't have the courage to do what Al Green did. Now, Al Green made a fool of himself. He's a representative out of Texas. He's old. He's washed up. And maybe he wanted to get his name out in the media news outlets, go on, make his rounds to the legacy news outlets to be interviewed. The same as Jasmine Crockett. So he was pounced out. And the next day, they voted to censor Al Green.
This is a really sad day for our institution. What Representative Al Green did in the midst of the president's speech as our honored guest to the chamber was disrupted. He did it intentionally, as everyone saw. I gave him plenty of warnings, and he refused it. It was a deliberate action. It needed to be met with swift punishment. That's the tradition of this place, to maintain decorum. And so that's what we just did. The resolution passed on the House floor. There were 224 votes in favor of censuring him for that behavior. 198 Democrats voted against it. I can't believe that. 2 votes present. So I think we had 9 Democrats join us in this bipartisan measure that we took. And it was critically important, Bill, because we have to maintain the dignity of this place. We're the greatest deliberative body in the history of the world. There's a deep and rich tradition here, and it is violated. To our understanding and our review of history, that was the first time that any member of Congress has ever had to be removed in the middle of a presidential address, and it's shameful.
It's very shameful. What was the purpose of that? Now, has the Republicans ever heckled at the president during State of the Union or joint sessions to Congress? Absolutely. There were several Republicans in the past. And this is when the Democrats were in control of the White House and Congress when Obama was president. And what did they do? Nothing. The Democrats did not censor the Republicans. They didn't escort the Republicans out of the House chambers. They just went on as business as usual. But the Republicans weren't having it. Now that the Republicans are in charge and you're being disruptive, disrespectful, while our commander-in-chief is giving his speech to Congress, you are part of Congress. That's a problem. I don't have a problem with Al Green being kicked out. It was warranted. And so when people want to use the rhetoric of, well, when Marjorie Taylor Greene did it, no one didn't censor her, no one didn't kick her out. Well, why not? Why didn't the Democrats do the same like the Republicans are doing the same to Al Green? And that goes to show that this administration is about business. It is about America. Put all what your personal feelings on how you feel about Trump aside. Get to the business. You were elected into Congress to represent your constituents and this nation. So how about you fight the battles on the House floor when it comes to public policies, when it comes to legislating? And that's not happening with the Democrats. This is CNN with their polls saying 80% of viewers had a problem with Al Green's behavior, calling it inappropriate.
During the course of the event, which is wanting to get reaction on Congressman Al Green's antics and being ejected, 80% of speech watchers said that the Democratic congressman's interrupting of Trump's speech was inappropriate. Only 20% of speech watchers thought what Green did was appropriate.
Now that's a problem because way over 50%, 80% thought he was being inappropriate, thought it was rude, thought it was respectful. And it is. That is why you do have decorum when you were talking about Congress, whether it's in the Senate or the House. That is a major problem when majority of the American people, white, black, or what have you, saying that that man behaved inappropriately. So he did not make a statement. He did not help push the needle to democracy and freedom. And this is another problem that I'm having, because these Democrats and even some Republicans, but specifically these Democrats, specifically the black Democrats, they always want to resort back and use black suffering as an excuse for their bad behavior. When you get on the House floor and you start singing "We Shall Overcome," "We Shall Overcome" is like a Black American anthem of Black oppression here in America. And this was done in the 60s, a different time. During that time, the Black people and some whites and others, but majority the Black Americans, sacrificed their life, their livelihood, their income, their education. They sacrificed so much for us to have the freedoms and the resources and the opportunities that we have today as Black Americans. So I want to ask Al Green, what prompted you to sing "We Shall Overcome"? Tell me, explain to the American people what oppression have you experienced today? What laws, state or federal, that is oppressing you, oppressing Black Americans, holding Black Americans back? There is none. So why are you singing that song? Now, can you show me a moment where Al Green or any Black Democrat politician in Congress were disruptive because they wanted to push public policies for Black Americans, tangibles? There never been one. We have never seen that. Has Al Green and others used that same energy to push restitution or reparations for Black Americans? Has he or any other Black Democrat been disruptive for freedom for Black Americans? Not just freedom, put freedom aside because we have freedom. Has any Black politician, Republican or Democrat, but we're focusing on the Democrats, has any Black Democratic politician been disruptive, been an advocate, voice their opinions loud on media for tangibles, specifically for Black Americans, specifically reparations? No. But you are disruptive, you are inappropriate, you are loud, you are obnoxious, you are contentious because you do not personally like the President of the United States, the current president, President Trump. And that is not the reason why your constituents voted for you people into Congress. Your constituents voted for you to go to Congress and advocate for their needs and for the needs of the nation, to represent them, to bring back resources and funding to your community, to your district, and to help pass bipartisan laws to strengthen this nation. And they are not doing that.
Say, well, thank you, Simone.
Can we talk about it?
The bingo signs were killing me. I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership. I talked to a lot of members they was texting. The staff were on my phones and they were calling. And I think the best way to describe it is the Democratic leadership said they didn't want disruptions and they wanted people to attend and bring a guest, and they wanted, little business as usual, and we're fighting back in other ways. There is a palpable disgust, as Claire said, from not just the members, but their constituents. And it's like a pot, as someone described it to me, that's boiling, and it's about to bubble over. If you do not allow the members a space to release valve, it's going to bubble over. And this was the visuals are not taking back the House in 2026. Not these visuals. Where's the signs? Put the signs up,
the
folks,
dry
please.
erase board, with different messages.
My gosh,
You
it
don't
was
think
crazy.
that's
Put the paddles up, y'all. Do we have something of the paddles?
But here's the thing. Here the thing about the moment for me that, and if for folks, if you really want to understand the difference between Republican control and Democratic acquiescence, it's in how two things happened in that chamber and how they were handled. When Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert stood up and showed their behinds on the House floor, all right? When they just act a fool, shouting and talking and being loud and disruptive, what happened?
They stayed.
They stayed. Democrats didn't threaten them. Democrats didn't tell them to sit your behind down and shut up, right? Order in the House.
Well,
What happened?
What should the Democrats done?
But what happened? What happened tonight?
Well, what should have happened tonight?
What happened then is what happened tonight. Because the Republicans weren't coming to play. They weren't going to give the Democrats the quarter. They knew what they were going to do. They knew they were going to try to be disruptive in some form. And their goal was to shut it down in one of two ways. And both of them worked. USA, as if they own that, that moniker, and throw them out.
I guess you mean
what should have the Democrats done instead of what they did?
Out.
No, I'm talking about tonight. What should the Democrats have done tonight instead of what they did?
Some of us believe they shouldn't have shown up. Or if they showed up at a certain point, here's the deal. When the congressman was kicked out, half that room should have left with him. Because that was the point. He was the only one to stand up and say, I'm not going to sit here and let you lie in this chamber. I'm not going to let you get away with this because you're lying right now. And instead of calling the man a lie, like they did to Barack Obama.
I remember, I was there.
Right?
And nothing happened.
And what happened then?
Didn't he got a pat on the wrist?
Michael Still is absolutely right. When the Republicans behaved badly, or were heckling the president, particularly President Obama and Biden, the Democrats did nothing. And that shows you the difference of today in 2025 under this administration. Republicans are not playing. They're not coming to play with you. They're not coming to be your friend. This is about business. So you could get mad that you ain't kick out Marjorie Taylor Greene or that man that called Obama a liar, because they should have been kicked out. Don't get mad because you were too weak to do it or too scared to do it. Don't get mad about the past, because this is the future. This is where we're at now. So the Democrats should have did to the Republicans what the Republicans did to the Democrats Wednesday night. And that did not happen. And he's also right. Michael Still's also right that when Al Green was getting kicked out, everybody, that should have been every Democrat in that chamber, that House chamber, should have been on code and marched out with Al Green. And they did not. We saw Jasmine Crockett sit her little ass in that seat, quiet, holding up that sad sign. Who brings a bingo sign to a joint session where the president is speaking? This is not some basketball, football game when people want to hold up signs, with the fans holding up signs in the stands. This is supposed to be our Congress, who we elected, who we voted into office to go to DC and represent America. And this is the behavior. If you really wanted to make a statement as a collective, then everybody should have got up and left. Now, I was seeing little videos of Jasmine Crockett and Representative Ayanna Pressley saying, well, I left, I got up and I left the joint sessions. Well, you didn't do it. You didn't leave when Al Green got kicked out. You probably left towards the end. That is not how you protest. That is not being revolutionary. That is the total opposite. It shows the dysfunction, the disorganization in the Democrat Party. If all of the Democrats would have got up and followed behind Al Green, you would have sent a message. But the message that was displayed was that we don't know what the hell we doing. We don't have a plan. The only thing that we're doing is being disruptive, and we hope something stick. So if you want to get up on that House floor the next day and start playing that victim card by singing "We Shall Overcome," the reason why it is an insult, because when that song was sang in the 60s, you saw a collective of Black Americans coming together, protesting, boycotting, getting their ass beat in the street, dying, being killed. It was a collective. Everybody got up and went outside and was demanding rights and freedom and civil liberties and human rights, everything. That was a collective. So how dare you use an anthem for your own self-cause? And that is why Kamala Harris didn't have a prayer in hell to be elected president. That is why Joe Biden was, I would say, the worst president. Because the Democrats' agenda, I don't even think they really have an agenda. They have no agenda. Their agenda is, we need to stay in power. We need to regain power, and we're willing to do it by any means necessary. We're willing to do it by any means necessary. And that is not your job. The job of a politician is to be the presenters to us, we the people, and our needs, and to strengthen and to protect and to uphold the United States Constitution. But anyway, guys, thank you so much tuning in to another Dana with the Data short take. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Dana with the data. Dana with the data.